complicated. The case against Lindsay Clancy, the Massachusetts mother accused in the death of her 3 young children, is getting even more complicated. Her defense isn't denying that she was responsible for their deaths. Instead, her attorneys argue she was suffering from severe postpartum psychosis and other mental health issues in 2023 when it happened. They point to what happened before, saying she looked for help. She saw psychiatrists, called a suicide hotline, went to an ER and was turned away, and was prescribed 13 different medications. And because of this, they argue she should not be held criminally responsible. Now the defense has brought in a major expert witness, a forensic psychiatrist who's also testified in other high-profile cases. His job? To explain what he believes was happening inside of the mother's mind at the time. Prosecutors tell a very different story. They argue Clancy planned what happened and understood what she was doing. After weeks of testimony, the trial is getting closer to the big question at the center of the case. Was Lindsay Clancy criminally responsible for the deaths of her children?
What type of bullshit is this? This is by far the most ludicrous thing I've ever seen in my life. This lady right here, Lindsay Clancy, who was on trial for unaliving her 3 children by strangulation, has had supporters, over 25,000 of them exactly, raise her $1 million to support her and her family. And it's mostly women standing outside of her courthouse, throwing heart hands in the air, showing all types of support. She was able to convince, or they convinced themselves, that she was actually the victim in this case.
We're here today to support Lindsay, but also all these incredible women that you see pouring in. I think this has become less of a trial. Whatever's going on behind those doors in the courtroom, it's become more about how Lindsay's been failed in obtaining the mental health help that she deserved.
I think a lot of us are here today because what we're seeing transpire hits close to home in many different ways. I'm a nurse before I was ever a mother, and I got introduced to the broken healthcare system that, we all know that we have. Within that broken healthcare system is an even more broken mental health care system. And then women suffer in every aspect from that.
I have a personal connection. I worked with Lindsay for a few years, so I know who the person she was before this. And when I first saw her face flash across the news on my TV, I was shocked. She was the last person I would ever suspect to do something like this, so I knew in my heart of hearts that something was seriously wrong.
Regardless of our individual speculation, we did not come here to protest or to rally or to scream our opinions about what happened behind the walls of the Clancy home in January of 2023. We're here to send one message, and that message is that it should not take tragedy for people to start paying attention to mental health.
Hey, Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to YAHAWAH, BAHASHAM, BAHASHAM, QADASH, double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone, rule well, peace, and salutation to the elect, and much respect to the brothers pushing his word in the four winds of the earth, and Shalom to you few sincere sisters out there as well. It's Brother REUPLOAD coming at you with another lesson. It's Isaiah 3:12, and as for my people, children are their oppressors, and women rule over them. O my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err, and destroy the way of thy paths. Okay? And the children is talking about these Edomites, man. And of course, women now, this world is for them. And you see it right there. It's plain. A woman gets convicted of killing 3 children, 3 of her kids, and she raises $1 million. Salakia. And she raises $1 million? Like, what world are we living? We in hell right now, man. We are in hell. And I guarantee you that those female inmates can't wait to get their hands on her, man. But I guarantee you that they put her in PC, where she come out for an hour to take a shower or use a phone or whatever, walk in the yard, and then she's back in the cell for 23 hours. I guarantee you that. She's in PC, which it stands for protective custody, Salakia. Different jails mean different things. But anyway, that just shows you the nature of an Edomite, man. And it wasn't just Edomite women out there. It was looked like Israelite women, but they might be Edomites in the spirit as well. You know, where they rallied together and they got Team Lindsay shirts on, you know, sending this woman money, making sure she's good, and she took the life for her kids. That's one of the first commandments. Even though the law was made for us Israelites, it wasn't made for the heathen, you know. In the kingdom, they still gonna have to follow that, man. But right now, they don't follow that. One of the first commandments is thou shalt not kill, man. You know? And she killed 3 people and she's getting so much support. I mean, these are things that you should look at to tell you that this devil is the enemy, man. You know? That do wickedness in the earth and still prosper, man. You know, I know we see it amongst 2/3 of our people, but that's supposed to be done with. Okay? Just like, what's his name? Dylan Roof. He sat up in the church with people, even though we don't believe in church, you know, because you don't learn anything in the church, bro. But anyway, he sat up there in the church with them for a couple of hours, man. And then he killed all of them. You know? That reminds me of Sirach 12, man. You know, never trust our enemy, man. You know? As iron rusteth, so is his wickedness, man. You know? And you'll see that it will never be altogether wiped away. You know, roughly paraphrasing. Okay? And, I mean, you can see and plainly that's our enemy, man. You know? That's crazy. But that's the way of an Edomite. You know? They say that she has a mental condition, but those are demons. Okay? Those are demons. There's demons that are plaguing her mind and making her do what she's doing, man. Or do what she did. Okay? And you can look in her eyes, there's no remorse. She don't care. I mean, it happened 3 years ago, but she don't care. You don't see any type of remorse or anything in her countenance, you know, in her disposition. You see nothing. You know, you see nothing. You don't see any kind of remorse. Okay, that's the word I'm looking for. None at all. You see none of that looking in her face. You know, and people, and not people, these women out there rallying for her, acting like she's the victim, and she's not the victim. Those 3 kids were the victim, man. 3 children were the victims. You know, but it's all judgment from the YAHAWASHI at the end of the day. But let me read this. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, okay? And Esau came out first, and we came out second. So we're the younger brother, but in the spirit, you know, we're older, man. You know, you could tell. Look how they ruining the earth. They're destroying everything. They're in rule right now. Everything is destroying you, you know, or the foods that you eat, ingest, clothes, air, water, whatever. He destroyed everything, man. You know, they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the doors of my flock. You know, because back then, shit, even now, you don't want to trust your dog. You won't even trust your dogs around these people, man. They like to kiss them and have sex with them. You know, I've done lessons on that where, you know, this particular Edomite woman was making tapes of her having sex with her dogs. I mean, come on, man. That's what it's talking about. Yeah. Yea, where too might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished, for want and famine, they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former time desolate and waste, who cut up mallows of the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. They were driven forth from among men. They cried after them as after a thief, to dwell in the clefts of the rocks, in the caves of the earth. Okay, and we all know that, you know, they don't come from the Caucasus Mountains, but that's where they dwelled at. Okay, because they came from the same womb that we came from. But we were two manners of people, two different nations, in one womb. Okay? There's a vessel to honor and a vessel to dishonor. And that's what you're seeing. A vessel to dishonor. You know, a vessel that the Lord is going to get rid of. Okay? And, you know, things like this happening won't happen in the earth anymore, man. It's going to be done and away with in the kingdom, man. You know? And it says, among the bushes they brayed, under the nettles they were gathered together. Okay? Let's look up that word bray, because that's like a loud... Yeah, let me see. I think I have it right here. Yeah, right here. It says they utter a loud and harsh cry. Okay? It says a harsh cry, the second definition here. A harsh cry, especially that of an ass, which is a donkey. Okay, so they're making noises like animals. That's what it's talking about. They were making noises like animals. You know, they were chased away from society. You know, we had to teach them how to wash their ass correctly, man. How to live. You know, they would wear underwear until it disintegrated. They would use, like people that died, their ancestors, maybe their grandmother, their grandfather, they would use their skulls as bowls for them to eat out of, man. You know? So you see the nasty shit they do today. They kiss dogs on the mouth. They have sex I've seen, man, these Edomites are nasty as hell, man. You know? And that's why I put up, these Edomites are cooked. You know, I put that lesson up. It's not a lesson, but I put it up once in a while so you can see, you know, type of shit that they into, man. The things that they're doing. So this is nothing to them. You know, blood is as nothing in their sight. They don't care about that. You know, 3 kids are dead, fine. You know, whatever. But we don't want her to rot in jail. We got to make sure that she's good. Who the fuck gets a milli for killing 3 of their kids, man? That's crazy. Let me see. Second Esdras. Let me get Second Esdras real quick. I'm going to try to make this fast because, good Lord. And other brothers did lessons on it too, you know, and they were edifying. I'm sure they were edifying. I didn't get to watch them, Salakia, for that, but I'm pretty sure that they're edifying. I'm going to go ahead and watch them too, man, because brothers did lessons on this as well. 15:2, Second Esdras 22, 15:22. My right hand shall not spare sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth. Okay? Is that not innocent blood? Is not an Edomite known for going around the earth shedding innocent blood to get what they want? I mean, come on, man. You know? Let's get this. Second Esdras 11. I'm going to try to go fast. Second Esdras 11:31. It says, and behold, the head was turned, and them that were... Oh, let me see. Oh, no, it's Ecclesiastes. Salakia. Ecclesiastes 11:31. And it says, for he lieth in wait, and turneth good into evil. Okay? That's what they doing. They turn good into evil. Whatever is good on this planet right now is shunned upon. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to be near it. They don't want to see it. They don't want to be a part of it, man. Okay? So things that are evil in the earth right now are being celebrated, and that's what you're seeing. You know, that is exactly what you're seeing, man. Evil things being celebrated, man. And in things, worthy praise will lay blame upon thee, okay, which is coming soon, you know, for our belief and our truth, we're going to be blamed for it, you know. Of a spark of fire, a heap of coals is kindled, and a sinful man layeth wait for blood, okay? That go for women too, man, you know. Just like, goes all the way back to Cain and Abel, man. You know, Cain killed Abel, and what did Abel's blood cried to the Lord, man. Let him know, look, this is what happened, man. This dude killed me. You know, so the blood cried unto the Lord, man. The blood of people, the blood of innocent people shed is heard by the Lord, Salakia. The Lord can hear it, man. You know? These people are just, I don't know, man. It's ridiculous. Let me get one more, and I'll end it here. I ain't want to go too long. I mean, shit, look at how, you know, as far as Job 30, what I was reading, I mean, and speaking about, look how they lived in Europe, man. You know, they would piss and doo-doo in buckets and throw it out in the middle of the street, man. You know? They would do that. Never forget, look up the Great Stink. That's how bad their communities was, man, because, you know, and for us, our law from the Heavenly Father is if you use the bathroom, you shovel that shit up and you put it in the ground, man. That's what we're supposed to do. But they don't do that, man. They do everything adverse to the Heavenly Father, man. You know? The Lord, if you follow the Lord, it's the way of life. And anything else is the ways of death, man. Straight up. Let me just get 15. I'll end it here. It says, the strife of the proud is bloodshedding, and their revilings are grievous to the ear. Okay? So they love to shed blood, man. It's nothing to them. Nothing. And you can see it right there, you know? You can see it in those videos. You see who your enemy is. I mean, it's just one instance. You know, there's plenty more. You know, but that's just one. But it just shows you the mentality of the people out here right now, man. They think that shit is okay. They think it's all right. They think she's the victim. Does she look like a victim? She came in a wheelchair. Like, you can walk. It kind of make me mad because you know you can use your legs right now. I can't use my legs. I know you can use yours. Get your ass up. But, I don't know. Anyway, man. I pray this short lesson was edifying. I want to say shalom to the next one.